Today I am doing the first ever true crime video on this channel. I'm super duper excited because I am so into watching like true crime videos and hearing about them and like reading about cases and stuff like that. So I'm super excited to be making my own videos about them to get the information out there and for people that love to watch them too. So today I'm doing a video on the Cleveland Abductions. So on August 23rd, 2002, Michelle Knight, a 21-year-old woman, was leaving her cousin's house when she was approached by a man in a vehicle. He offered her a ride and she accepted, so on their way home, he actually offered some puppies for her son, Joey. So her son Joey was actually being taken away from her because of possible abuse from her boyfriend, and so she actually had a court case that day about him. But he offered her some puppies for him, and so she thought it would be a great gift and she accepted. So when he pulled up to his house on 2207 Seymour Drive, he brought her in. And she started to realize there was no puppies anywhere. She didn't hear them and she did not see them. And he brought her into this room and locked her in. And the first thing he did was tie her up by her wrist and by her ankles and hung her from the ceiling like a fish, which is just disturbing. So this man actually happened to be Ariel Castro, and for the next few months he tortured her. She only was able to eat once a day, and if even, and was only allowed to shower about twice a week. He actually raped her multiple times and she got pregnant at least 5 times in the time that she was abducted. But each of those times she miscarried because Ariel actually beat her so badly that she miscarried every time. One time he actually took a dumbbell and he hit her in the stomach with it until she bled out. So as if Michelle was not enough for him, he went out and he got another woman, Amanda Berry. Now Amanda Berry was actually a huge case this whole time, and she was so known in the media, unlike Michelle. Michelle actually had a pretty broken home, and her family reported her as missing, but soon after she was taken off the missings list because she was of age and no one really cared to know where she went. So Amanda Berry was born on April 22nd of 1986, and she was 16 years old. She was actually walking home from her work at Burger King when she was abducted. It was April 21st, 2003, which was the day before her 17th birthday. She got in the car with Ariel because she knew, just like Michelle, one of his daughters, and so she trusted him and thought it would be okay if he could take her home. So Ariel Castro brought her back to his house like he did with Michelle, and he locked the doors behind her, and she was never out of that house again for the next 10 years. He treated her the way he did with Michelle, but he actually treated her just a little bit better than he treated Michelle. He still treated her horribly, but it was still just a little bit better than he treated Michelle. And actually, just a few weeks after she was abducted, her story was everywhere on the news. Her parents were working so hard to find her. Her friends and her family, they wanted to have her back. But a few weeks after her abduction, an unidentified man called Amanda's mom and told her that Amanda was safe with him and that she'd be home in a couple of days. So her mom kind of believed it, and it gave her a bit of hope, but sadly that did not happen. Almost a year after Amanda Berry was kidnapped, on April 2nd, 2004, Gina DeJesus was kidnapped. Gina was actually really good friends with one of Ariel's daughters, and she was with her at a payphone talking to her friend's mom about having a sleepover that night, but her friend's mom said no, and so they parted their separate ways. And that is when Ariel approached Gina. So of course Gina knew Ariel and thought she was pretty comfortable with him. He was one of her really good friends' dad, the one she was actually just with, so she felt it was safe and she got in the car with him. Instead of going back to Gina's house though, she was brought to Ariel's house, and he took her inside once again and locked the doors behind them, and she did not come out. Gina was only 14 years old at the time, which is super young, actually a lot younger, not a lot younger, but she was actually younger than the other 2 girls in the house, which is just terrifying to just know that you could be 14 years old, just trying to have friends with your sleepover, and that same friend's dad could kidnap you. So he actually had them all for so long, for 10 years of their life. So in this time that he had them captive, he beat them and raped them and nearly starved them to death. So they were treated very, very poorly. They were not really allowed to come in contact with each other. They all knew they were there, but for the most part, they weren't allowed to speak to each other. They were given a shower at most twice a week, and they had to use little plastic toilets that he rarely emptied out for them. Actually, at a point before any of the other girls got there, Ariel got Michelle a dog, and she became really close with the dog. It was her only really source of comfort. But one time when Ariel was trying to get to Michelle and beat her or rape her, the dog got defensive because, you know, dogs get really attached to their humans, and Ariel snapped the dog's neck right in front of Michelle's face, which is just so sad. It makes me want to cry. That's just horrible and probably really traumatizing. Well, so this whole time, Michelle was barely in the news, and Amanda and Gina were in the news a ton. They were everywhere covering the media. Everyone wanted to know where Gina DeJesus and Manberry were because their families put a lot of effort into searching for them, and they were on the missing persons list, and there's an ongoing case to find them, while Michelle Knight was kind of just being ignored. And Ariel actually used that as a way to get to Michelle, and he'd say, no one cares for you, no one likes you, no one even knows you're missing, no one's gonna come find you. So he used it to put her down. And he gave Michelle so much less. He treated her so much worse than he treated the other two girls. A lot of the time that she was in there, she had to wear a bicycle helmet, a motorcycle helmet, not a bicycle helmet. She was actually forced to wear a motorcycle helmet, so she could not even get, and she couldn't get it off of her head. She had to just sit there and wear that, which is horrible. And she was actually tied to a pole in the basement for a long time as well. Ariel actually reconstructed his house a little bit to make it easier to hide these girls, which is just really gross. He locked a ton of the doors, and if he had family over, which he actually did while they were there, he wouldn't let them go upstairs, which I guess didn't seem very suspicious to his children, but... And a lot of the time, Ariel was blasting music, so the screams and cries out from the girls were not heard. He actually had invited his neighbors over for dinner and everything too, knowing that these girls that were all over the news were trapped inside his house. Just imagine having the guts to do that, just not even caring. And Michelle Knight had actually lost hearing in one of her ears because of how badly she was beaten. On December 25th, 2006, Amanda Berry gave birth to a little girl named Jocelyn. Now, Jocelyn's dad was Ariel, and so she got a lot of special attention from him. She was allowed to leave the house a few times. She met the family. She would call Ariel daddy and his mother grandmother. So she had this actual connection with the family, and she was not really, she was still too young to even really understand that she was being held captive. Now, Amanda was in love with Jocelyn, obviously, because it is her daughter. It was kind of just her little piece of hope, because when Amanda was in captivity, her mother actually died, and Amanda had to see that on television. She had to hear that her mother was dead from a news broadcaster. So her mom worked super hard, and actually people like to say that she died of a broken heart. So Jocelyn was Amanda's only piece of family, only piece of blood and hope that she had left. So she of course loved Jocelyn so much, and Jocelyn did not have schooling. Obviously she had no education, so Amanda actually made a little school for them. She would pretend to walk across the street every morning to school. She'd say, okay, you gotta look left and right, make sure there's no cars, and then you can go. She would make it a point to teach her simple little things like that too. So she had a little classroom built out in her room that she was trapped in. She had a desk, and she had like little posters and stuff, and she taught her to the best of her ability as much as she could, and really, and she didn't want, she wanted Jocelyn to have as much of a normal life as she really could. So while they were in captivity, Amanda's family reached out to a psychic, and it was a known psychic that she was very famous, and the psychic actually told them that Amanda was dead. So Amanda believed, Amanda's family this whole time was believing that Amanda was dead, which is just so sad to think about, that a psychic would, clearly, like, I don't know. Unless you are completely confident in your abilities as a psychic, which I really don't believe psychics really know the future or know things like that, then you just shouldn't get involved with stuff like that, because that's just like, it's just like mean to do to a family, is to tell them that your daughter is dead when you really do not know that. So Amanda's family was kind of giving up hope, but Gina's family was not. Even at one point, a man told the police that he knew where Amanda's body was, and when they found out that he was lying, he was convicted, because obviously you can't just lie about something so huge like that. So having Jocelyn in the house was definitely a positive, because it is actually their way that they escaped. So one morning, Jocelyn noticed that the house was empty. Like, Ariel was nowhere in the house to be found, so she went, because she was allowed up downstairs, and she was the only one allowed downstairs out of the room. So she went back upstairs and she said, "Mommy, Ariel is gone. Daddy is gone. Daddy's not home." And so Amanda's like, "Are you sure? Go check around the house. Make sure he's not in the garage. He's not in the car. He's not anywhere. Like, go make sure Daddy is nowhere in the house." So when Jocelyn came back, she said he wasn't. So Amanda knew that this was her time to go. So she actually ran downstairs, and the big door, like the front door was open, but the screen door was still shut, and there was a lock on it. So Amanda could not open the door, but there was a small opening. When you push the door, you could get like a small crack, and she could fit her hand through it. So she was waving her hand, she was screaming like, "Help, help, I'm stuck in here, I'm stuck." And thankfully a neighbor, Charles Ramsey, was walking past the house eating his McDonald's when he heard her, and he stopped and he was like, "What is this girl doing? Like, clearly she needs help." So he went up to the front porch and actually kicked the bottom of the screen door in, and so Jocelyn and Amanda could get out.
I'm talking with Charles Ramsey. He's a neighbor. Walk me through again what happened this afternoon. You heard screaming.
Heard screaming. I'm eating my McDonald's. I come outside. I see this girl going nuts, trying to get out of her house. So I go on the porch.
Okay.
I go on the porch, and she says, "Help me get out. I've been in here a long time."
So Jocelyn and Amanda were free. It like gives me chills. It's like, oh my gosh, they were free, and they ran across to the neighbor's house, and they called the 911. Called 911. So I will have the video of the call right here.
Cleveland 911.
Hello, please. Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
Okay, and what's your address?
2207 Seymour Avenue.
2207 Seymour. Looks like you're calling me from 2210.
Huh?
Looks like you're calling me from 2210.
I can't hear you.
It looks like you were calling me from 2210 Seymour.
Yeah, I'm across the street. I'm using the phone.
Okay, stay there with those neighbors. Talk to the police when they get there.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay, I'm going right now.
We're going to send them as soon as we get a car open.
No, I need them now before we get back.
All right, we're sending them, okay?
Okay, I mean, like,
Who's the guy? Who's the guy you're who's the guy who went out?
His name is Ariel Castro.
All right, how old is he?
He's like 52.
All right, and
Steven, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been on the news for the last 10 years.
Okay, I got that here. I already. And you said, what was his name again?
Ariel Castro.
And is he white, black, or Hispanic?
I'm Hispanic.
What's he wearing?
I don't know, because he's not here right now. That's
when
why
he
I got away.
when he left, what was he wearing?
Sweetheart, it's a pity. What?
Right, the police are on the way. Talk to them when they get there. Okay?
Okay.
I told you they're on the way. Talk to them when they get there, okay?
All right, okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Personally, I feel like the operator did not do a good job. Like, you're not supposed to just be like, okay, like, talk to police when they get here and hang up on her. Like, don't do that. But honestly, that call, like, gives me the chills. Like, just hearing her, like, she's just probably so relieved but so scared, and like, it's just, I don't know, it's just like so crazy to me that they got out, and it's like so, like, thank goodness they had that opportunity. So of course, the police got there, and they actually ran upstairs, and they rescued Michelle Knight and Gina DeJesus. And honestly, people were more excited that Gina was found than Michelle, because she didn't really have any family looking for her or media knowing, and so it was like kind of sad for Michelle, because like everybody else had like loving families and the media and everything to go back to, and like so much love and support. And of course Michelle was supported, but it was like not the same for her. So actually, when Michelle was so they were all taken to the hospital because they were so badly beaten and starved and probably just traumatized. So Michelle actually was told she would need facial reconstructive surgery because of how badly she was beaten. So that is just so sad to me. Like, it's horrible. But they all were treated and they got to go home to their families, and they are so safe now. And they actually all three wrote books about their experiences. Michelle Knight wrote her own, and Gina and Amanda wrote theirs together. So honestly, I haven't read them, but I really want to read them, so I recommend you do as well. And yeah, now Jocelyn is living a normal life in school, and she is happy and safe, and all of them are safe. And Ariel was arrested almost immediately. They found him, and he was convicted. So he was arrested on May 6th, 2013, which is actually so, like, this whole thing was not very long ago. Like, this was 5 years ago that this happened. Like, that's just so crazy to me. But he was charged with 4 counts of kidnapping and 3 counts of rape. On July 26, 2013, Ariel actually pleaded guilty to 937 of the 977 charges against him, including charges of kidnapping, rape, and aggravated murder. He ended up being sentenced life in prison plus 1,000 years, so he was never gonna get out. But only a few months into his sentence, he actually hung himself in prison, which is so cowardly, and it really sucks, because he put those girls through so much torture and kept them captive, but the second he gets a little taste of his own medicine, he can't handle it and kills himself. Like, so frustrating to me. I really wish that didn't happen. I wish he was still in prison, just having to put up with what they like, not even anything close to what they put up with, but just that little bit of like torture towards him as well. But it must be nice for those girls to know that he is at least dead and that they are safe now. And I'm so happy that they were found, because that is so scary. And actually his house on Seymour Avenue was demolished so that there was just no piece of this horrible crime left. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm really sorry if it was kind of a mess and it was a little short, because this is my first ever true crime video, and so my information's kind of just like everywhere, but hopefully I get a little better at this. So let me know down below if you want to see more videos like this, and yeah, peace, love, and ladybugs. Bye guys.
Peace, love, and ladybugs. Peace, love, and ladybugs. Peace, love, and ladybugs. Peace, love, and